Welcome to Lesson 02. Let's make Python classes stop feeling like magic. Every class you'll ever read, from a 5-line toy to a 5,000-line domain model, follows the exact same skeleton. By the end of this lesson, you'll know what an instance actually is: a dict plus a class pointer. And you'll be able to read and write any class in any code base. No animal inherits from dog nonsense, just the shape. Here's the map for the next 12 slides. First, the 5-line skeleton: class, init, self, one attribute, one method, the shape you'll write 1,000 times. Then we create instances and use the 3 verbs of OOP: construct, read, call. After that, the class versus instance attribute split, including the mutable default trap that bites everyone exactly once. And finally, we crack open opta dicta and prove an instance is just a dict with a class pointer. 4 models, 0 magic. So here's the shape. The bare minimum is 4 lines, a class name and pass, and that's already a working class you can instantiate. The useful version adds 1 more layer, and Brock init at constructor that takes arguments, 2 attributes hung off self, and 1 method that does something. Name, constructor, attributes, methods. That's it. Every class you'll ever write, cart, user, order, a 5,000-line Django model, is this skeleton with more stuff bolted on. Now the distinction that makes all of this click. The class is the blueprint. Written once, describes what a cart is, holds no data itself. The instance is the building, created with cart Alice, and each one carries its own state. When Alice appends a book, Bob's cart stays empty. Same blueprint, separate buildings. But here's where that distinction bites you. Put items directly under class cart, and you've made it a class attribute. One list, shared by every instance ever created. Alice appends a book, and suddenly Bob's cart has it too. The fix is 1 line. Move it into ax init mats as self.items, ax. Now each instance gets its own list, and the carts stay independent. Now let's pull back the curtain. Every instance you create is just a dictionary with a pointer to its class. Build a cart, then type cart, dict DAO, and you'll see it plainly. User, Laszlo, items. Attribute access, Python checks that dict first, falls back to the class if it's missing. That's how cart add finds its method. Assignment just mutates the dict. No magic, just lookups. Now let's put that mental model to work with something you'd actually ship. Forget animal and dog. Here's a counter. 6 lines. It holds a name, holds a count, and exposes hit and reset. That's it. And look at the payoff. 2 instances, errors, and successes, each with their own independent state, tracking API outcomes in a single clean loop. State plus behavior, bound together, reused. This is the shape every domain class you write will follow. Once you can write a counter, the next jump is writing classes that don't bite you later. 6 reflexes do most of that work. Pascal case your class names, type your attributes, and use pass for empty bodies. Small habits that pay off instantly. Then, the 3 that save real debugging hours. Never put mutable defaults at class level, keep 1 class per concept, and reach for isInstance instead of type arsa. Senior devs don't think about these, they just do them. And here it all is on 1 page. 12 patterns that cover 90% of the class code you'll ever write. Defining, constructing, reading, writing, calling, checking. That's the whole vocabulary. Screenshot this one. When you're stuck mid-class at 2 in the morning, the answer is almost always somewhere in this grid. Now the 5 mistakes that will bite you. 1. Mutable class attributes. A list at class level is shared across every instance, so put it inside init. 2. Forgetting parens. Cart without parentheses gives you the class itself, not an object. 3. Setting attributes from outside, init, leaves you with instances that don't match. 4. Using a class as a dumping ground for constants. That's what modules are for. And 5, lowercase class names. PP8 says Pascal case. Your linter will remind you loudly. Theory's done. Now your fingers need to learn it. 3 exercises. First, type the 5-line cart from scratch 10 times, swapping the domain each round. Counter, user, timer, bank account. By the third one, stop looking at the reference. Second, build the mutable trap on purpose. Watch Alice and Bob share a list, then fix it. Third, print, dictamaz on 2 instances, modify 1, print again. That's how you'll see Python has no magic, just a dict with a class pointer. And that's lesson 02 in the bag. You've got the 5-line shape, you understand instances, you can tell class attributes from instance attributes, and dict holds no mystery anymore. Next up, we go deep on self, what it actually is, not what JavaScript or Java led you to believe, and we pull DAOs init DAOs apart, including its quieter sibling, OOP L02. See you in lesson 03.